Hi, I'm Jason Cotta, co-founder of Gibraltar Software, and you're watching one of our Getting Started videos. If you haven't installed Gibraltar yet, visit our website to start a free trial. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how easy it is to add Gibraltar to a WinForms application. Don't worry if you're not using WinForms. Gibraltar supports any application using .NET 2.0 or later, and most of what I'm going to tell you applies equally to WPF, ASP.NET, Windows services, etc. Gibraltar is an end-to-end solution for recording, collecting, and analyzing data that'll help you better support and improve your .NET applications. There are three aspects to integrating Gibraltar. First, you need to add Gibraltar Agent to your application so that it can record events, metrics, and any errors that occur. Second, you need to gather the data Gibraltar Agent records so that it can be analyzed. Third, you analyze the data Gibraltar Agent records using a desktop application we call the Gibraltar Analyst. Adding Gibraltar Agent is simple, and we provide three options you can mix and match to fit your specific needs and preferences. The easiest way is using our configuration wizard, which is part of the Analyst application. I'll walk you through the wizard in just a moment, but let me first touch on the other ways you can add Agent. A second option is to configure Gibraltar with XML in your application configuration file. Our wizard does this for you, but if you prefer to write your own XML or tweak the XML we generate, it's all fully documented. The third option to initialize Agent and tailor its behavior is with our API. Initializing Agent programmatically is particularly useful in situations where you don't have an application config file, such as add-ins, components, or single-file executables. You can also use our API to add special behaviors, such as immediately transmitting logs if an error is detected. We'll get back to the API in a couple minutes. Let's first take a closer look at using the Gibraltar Configuration Wizard. The Configuration Wizard updates your Visual Studio project with a reference to the Gibraltar Agent and the necessary configuration XML that initializes it. I'll demonstrate the Configuration Wizard on a sample project we provide with Gibraltar. To find the sample projects, start in whatever folder you've installed Gibraltar. Look in the SDK subfolder. From there, drill down into Samples. We have samples in both C# and Visual Basic. For each language, you'll find two projects. The dynamic binding sample shows how Gibraltar can be configured using XML without even recompiling your program. As you can see, the app config file in the dynamic binding sample already has Gibraltar configured. Let's use the wizard to update that configuration. You can start the configuration wizard from the Getting Started section of the Start page, or from the Tools menu. Or, if you've just started a Gibraltar trial, we provide this ginormous green button. The wizard guides us through the configuration process step by step. The first step is to select our Visual Studio project file. The wizard notices that this project already uses Gibraltar and offers us the option to edit the configuration. Next, we can enter the name and version of the application, or by default, Gibraltar will pull that information directly from the executable at runtime. For this demo, we'll just be sending logs via email, so I'll uncheck the hub option and update the configuration to mail logs to my email address. The wizard includes the ability to specify and test SMTP settings for routing email. You'll typically want to provide those settings unless they're already in your machine config or app config file. In my case, they are, so I can just click Next and complete the wizard. Let's take a look at the updated app config file. As you can see, it now reflects the changes we made with the wizard. Let's run the sample project and see Gibraltar in action. Gibraltar has some special features for desktop applications. For example, if I press Ctrl-Alt-F5, the Gibraltar Live Viewer pops up, displaying trace messages written by the application. Clicking this button throws an exception. Gibraltar catches it and displays a nice dialog to the user. If a second unhandled exception is detected, the dialog offers the option to suppress user notification. Now, I'll filter the live viewer to just show errors and click the button again to generate a third error. The error still gets logged, but silently, without the error notification dialog. By clicking an option in the viewer or pressing another hotkey, Gibraltar Agent will send me the logs containing those errors. The second page lets me choose what to do with the data. Later I'll show you how you can configure what options are offered. Gibraltar is now sending the logs via email. If I pop over to Outlook, we'll see the logs appear in my inbox. By the way, here's a cute trick. I have a rule to automatically move logs with errors to a folder. It's not as nice as using Gibraltar Hub, but for a low volume of data, it can really help you manage incoming logs. Double-clicking the attachment opens the package in Gibraltar Analyst. From here, I can quickly filter the data to show just the errors. You'll notice that Gibraltar captures all the stack trace information associated with each error, and it'll even display the associated source code if your program includes line number info and you have the source code on your computer. But you don't have to use the wizard. You can edit the configuration XML yourself if you prefer. For instance, I can specify what hotkey to use for the packager dialog that sent logs. And I can tell Packager to just use email and not present the user with other options. While we're at it, let's reassign the hotkey for the live viewer too. Plus, we'll have the viewer display a filtered view of just errors and not display verbose messages at all. When I run the program again, you see that the new settings have taken effect. The live viewer is filtered, only showing errors. The info messages are still there if I want them, but verbose messages are totally hidden, although they're still recorded by Gibraltar. And this time, the Packager wizard presents a more streamlined user experience for sending logs. Note that I've run the program a few times, and the wizard is packaging the whole set of logs in a single file. When I open the package, Gibraltar Analyst shows all the sessions. From there, I can drill into any that interest me. Now, let's take our integration one step further. Let me show you how I can have Gibraltar silently send sessions automatically whenever errors occur with just a couple lines of code. As part of program initialization, let's set up an event handler that'll be called whenever a warning or error message is logged. The handler can do whatever is appropriate. It could send the active session immediately, or, with a single line of code, tell Gibraltar Agent to automatically send all unsent session data once the application exits, so we'll have a complete picture of the situation before and after the error when we analyze the logs in Gibraltar Analyst. I'll generate a few errors, just like before. Now, watch what happens when I exit the program. When requested to send sessions on exit, the agent wants to ensure that every last message is included. So, when it detects that the program is ending, it invokes the Gibraltar Packager utility to send the session data after the application exits. Just like before, the session data shows up in my Gibraltar Logs folder, and I can review the data in Gibraltar Analyst to see all the details about every error. The sessions were silently transmitted by Gibraltar without any user action required. How cool is that? What would it mean for the quality of your software if you could have detailed information about every error your users encounter, with a tool to effectively manage all that data so you can quickly identify and resolve high-priority issues? Error analysis is only one aspect of the value Gibraltar brings, but it's an important piece you can put in place today using the techniques I've shown you in this video. So that's about it for this overview of getting started integrating Gibraltar with a WinForms application. As I said at the start, with the exception of the UI components I showed, the process is basically the same for any .NET program. As a next step, I recommend that you jump in and try Gibraltar on your programs. We've tried to make our UI and API intuitive, and I think you'll find that our documentation is fairly complete. For example, I skimmed over SMTP settings earlier in this video. But everything you need is accessible from the configuration wizard, XML, and our API, and it's all described in the help file. And if you get stuck, we're here to help you. Send us an email or start a live chat. Thanks for watching this video. Have a great day.